Hello and welcome to all our viewers around the world to the AMU Zero Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has declared an indefinite nationwide strike beginning November 1, citing the federal government's failure to meet key demands. The association wants a 200% salary increase, new allowances, immediate recruitment of staff, and the removal of bottlenecks affecting doctor replacement. The association's president, Dr. Mohammed Suleiman, directed members to hand over patients and sensitize the public ahead of the action, warning that attempts to exploit doctors will be collectively resisted. A petroleum-laden tanker which had taken off from Lagos and heading to Kano has overturned at Takalafia village in Lapai local government area of Niger State, causing fear among residents in the area. This marks the second tanker-related accident recorded in Niger State within 1 week. Dr. Ibrahim Audu Hussaini, Director of Information and Special Duties, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, said there is no cause for alarm, confirming that the truck did not explode and firefighting trucks of the Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida University, Lapai, were on standby at the scene. President Bola Tinubu has commissioned some newly completed projects at the University of Ilorin in Kwara State as part of activities marking the institution's 40th convocation ceremonies. Speaking at the event, the president, who was represented by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Technology, Akure, Professor Adenike Oladiji, said the newly commissioned projects underscore the essence of a true university system dedicated to the service of humanity. The federal government says 20 million Nigerians are now enrolled in health insurance schemes with plans to reach 44 million by 2030. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Mohammed Pate, said the milestone aligns with President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and marks a new record of 2.4 million enrollees in 2024. He noted that the policy will cut high out-of-pocket spending, while the National Health Insurance Authority has been directed to ensure hospitals do not deny treatment to insured citizens. Nigeria's Constitution Review Committee has approved the creation of an additional state in the southeast, addressing long-standing calls for equity among geopolitical zones. The decision was reached during a two-day retreat in Lagos, chaired by Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin and co-chaired by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu. Lawmakers described the move as one driven by fairness and unity, with a subcommittee set up to review the creation of more states and local governments across all zones. The House of Representatives has invited critical stakeholders, including the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Standard Organization of Nigeria, Federal Ministries of Health, and Airports Authority of Nigeria to submit memoranda ahead of its probe into the prevalence in the use, trafficking, and regulation of illicit drugs across the country. The committee invited drugs manufacturing companies and all others, including law enforcement agencies and development partners comprising the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, World Health Organization, United Nations Development Program, and many others to submit memoranda to the committee. And on to other stories, the Nigerian Railway Corporation says the Warri Itakbe train station will resume operations on Wednesday, 29th October 2025. The corporation's Chief Public Relations Officer, Callistus Onyemadu, disclosed this in a statement weeks after the corporation had suspended train operations along that route. The agency further stated that the temporary suspension became necessary to enable the corporation to carry out essential repairs, system checks, and maintenance on the tracks and rolling stock to enhance passenger safety as well as service reliability. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has constituted a 13-member screening committee ahead of its November 15 National Convention in Ibadan, Oyo State capital. The committee is chaired by Eyitayo Jegede, with Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintiri serving as head of the organizing committee. Despite ongoing internal disputes and a pending court case challenging the exercise, the party says screening of aspirants will commence Tuesday as preparations continue. Igede youths in Benue State have taken to the streets to protest the deplorable condition of the Otukpo-Obioju Road. The protesters are calling on the federal government to urgently rehabilitate the highway, which they say has become a death trap for commuters and a haven for criminals. Global TV Benue State correspondent Felicity Inderi now reports.
In a peaceful demonstration, but one that conveyed deep frustration, hundreds of Igede youth poured onto the Otukpo-Obioju Road, demanding immediate government intervention to fix what they described as a failed federal road.
What do you want? Fix Otukpo-Obioju Road!
For decades, the road has remained in a dilapidated state. According to youth, until the road is fixed, they will continue to raise their voices, hoping that one day their cries will translate into concrete action.
But when it comes to the border area of Ijegu, down to Igede land, the tractors and everybody will disappear like salt inside water. We are tired. We will not take it again. We have come and we are going to remain here 3 days after today. If you don't attend to us, we are human beings. We give our vote to the federal government. We give our vote to the state government. We give our vote to every other person and contributed to national development. We cannot be left like this. So this is just a warning.
The protesters say the hardship caused by the poor road goes beyond inconveniences. It threatens lives and livelihoods, forcing motorists and commuters to endure endless delays, vehicle breakdowns, and in some cases, attack by bandits, taking advantage of stranded travelers.
And the election is coming. We don't want this road to become a campaign strategy for our politicians. Because this road has become a campaign strategy. What they normally do during the election, they come and start giving us lies that if you vote for me, this road is going to be fixed.
When they ask us to vote for them, we always turned out in large numbers. But now it's time for them to help us. They refuse to listen to our voices. What should we do? We are tired. They should fix our road. We can no longer go to the market.
Drivers and commuters say going through the route daily is a journey of frustration and loss.
And my customer, when they wait me for Abuja to carry, I don't give them. They worry me. They say, I don't chop your car. I don't say they divert their car. And I don't know day. Why supposed to go and carry car since about 3 days ago now? No movement. And then way to do to me again to survive the motor again.
We are on the road. They are supposed to come and check the road, even if they won't repair it. This road has been in existence before I was born. Now I am grown. I'm plying the road too. Sometimes we spend 2 days on the road, eating food and drinking water that is not too.
The protesters, therefore, as a matter of urgency, are appealing to the Federal Ministry of Works and the Benue State government to prioritize the rehabilitation of the Otukpo-Obioju Road in the next phase of infrastructure projects. In Otukpo, Felicity Indere reporting for Global Television News.
Thank you so very much, Felicity. The Nigerian Environmental Society has rounded off its 34th National Conference with a grand finale and 40th anniversary celebration in Abuja. The event highlighted 4 decades of consistent advocacy for environmental protection and sustainable development. Ubong Usoro now reports.
It was a night of reflection, recognition, and renewed commitment as members of the Nigerian Environmental Society gathered to celebrate 40 years of driving environmental awareness and policy action in Nigeria. The event featured a presentation of awards to deserving members who have contributed to the society's growth and impact over the years. Speakers commended NES journey from a small advocacy group to a national voice for sustainable and environmental justice. The national president of the Nigerian Environmental Society, Dr. Efebidike Okobia, stated that the organization will continue its advocacy towards environmental sustainability.
For us, we are indeed grateful that the society is 40 years. But we are not just celebrating 40 years, we are celebrating landmark achievements and also planning and strategizing for the next 40 years.
The National Secretary of the Society, Dr. Adewale Adeyemi, said the milestone reflects the organization's resilience and continued drive to promote cleaner and greener communities.
This was just a society that was just like a mustard seed planted by a few people, about 10 of them 40 years ago. Now, from just one chapter in Lagos, it has grown to 36 chapters in Nigeria and one chapter in UK.
Also speaking, Emeritus Professor Babajide Alu, former Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos and Chairman of the Board of Trustees, described NES as a catalyst for positive environmental change in Nigeria.
We have also remained very, very relevant in Nigerian society. We are recognized as a premier NGO for environment in Nigeria. We are recognized as the leading society, government, parastatals, everybody come to us.
As the grand finale draws to a close, members reaffirm their commitment to promoting sustainable cities, strengthening partnership, and creating a healthier, greener environment for current and future generations. Ubong Usoro for Global Television, Abuja.
You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News here on Global Television. When we return, Sports Psoriasis Association of Nigeria turns 60. Its president leads delegation to Thanksgiving as part of events marking this milestone. We have those details for you, as well as more stories from business and foreign segments. Please do stay with us. Well, thank you so very much for staying with us, everyone. The broadcast of the AM News now continues with business. The Dangote refinery has announced the expansion of the facility from 650,000 barrels per day to 1.4 million barrels per day. President of the group, Aliko Dangote, made the announcement at a press briefing in Lagos. Dangote said the construction work for the expansion is expected to begin without further delay. The federal government is taking another major step toward inclusive agricultural development with the validation of the revised National Gender Policy in Agriculture and its Strategic Action Plan for 2025 to 2030. A correspondent, Anieti Patrick, reports that the policy is aimed at bridging gender gaps in access to land, finance, and decision-making across Nigeria's agricultural sector.
The validation workshop held in Abuja brought together key stakeholders from government agencies and the National Assembly to development partners and Farmer Association. The revised policy led by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is designed to promote inclusivity, equity, and productivity across the agricultural value chain.
Equal participation, equitable allocation of resources, and targeted support for women, men, young, farmers, and persons with disabilities.
According to the ministry, the document is the product of a year-long consultative process involving more than 1,200 stakeholders across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Marcus Ogumbi, said the policy marks a milestone in mainstreaming gender equality into agricultural planning and budgeting.
This policy will serve as a guiding framework for our actions and decisions in ensuring that the needs and perspectives of women and other vulnerable groups are integrated into agricultural development.
For the chairperson of the National Gender Steering Committee and Food Systems Specialist at ActionAid Nigeria, Azubike Nwokoye. The policy reflects current realities, including the need to tackle gender-based violence and support young farmers.
This revised national gender policy in agriculture, we reflected over the gaps we have seen. You know, as we have been working with the policy, there are contextual issues that are coming up. There are things that are changing that we need to also reflect and also put in some action.
The revised national gender policy in agriculture is expected to be presented to the National Council on Agriculture for endorsement, setting the stage for more inclusive agricultural growth and better food and nutrition security nationwide. Anie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
United States President Donald Trump and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim have signed a trade agreement boosting U.S. access to critical minerals as China tightens controls on rare earths. Beijing this month announced sweeping restrictions on the rare earths industry, prompting President Trump to threaten 100% tariffs on imports from China in retaliation. Trump is in the Malaysian capital, Kuala Lumpur, at the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit ahead of a meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping on Thursday. Let's go to the foreign scene now. Two Cameroonian opposition leaders backing presidential challenger Issa Chiroma Bakri have been arrested following disputed elections. Anisset Akane of the African Movement for New Independence and Democracy and Chukan Chimeni of Movement Democratique Integral were taken from their homes by elite forces after Chiroma claimed victory against longtime ruler Paul Biya. The arrest has sparked outrage from opposition groups who described the move as intimidation ahead of the official announcement of results. Away from Africa, New York City mayoral candidate Zoran Mamdani has given an emotional speech addressing what he called racist, baseless attacks from his opponents a day before early voting begins in the race he is projected to win. Speaking outside a mosque in the Bronx, Mamdani criticized his opponents for bringing, in his words, hatred to the forefront, noting that their Islamophobia not only affects him as the Democratic nominee for mayor, but also close to 1 million Muslims who live in New York.
Mamdani, who is currently a member of the New York State Assembly, said while he had tried to focus his election campaign on his core message of affordability, his opponents in recent days have shown that Islamophobia has emerged as one of the few areas of agreement. His speech also came a day after his top opponent, former New York State's Governor Andrew Cuomo, laughed after a radio host, Sid Rosenberg, said Mamdani would be cheering if another September 11 attack occurs.
It is whether we are willing to say goodbye to anti-Muslim sentiment that has grown so endemic in our city that when we hear it, we know not whether the words were spoken by a Republican or a Democrat. We know only that it was spoken in the language of politics of this city. In an era of ever-diminishing bipartisanship, it seems that Islamophobia has emerged as one of the few areas of agreement.
Zoran Mamdani, New York mayoral candidate. Mamdani had earlier received a long-anticipated endorsement from Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the Democratic Party in the U.S. House of Representatives and the representative of New York's 8th Congressional District, which includes the Brooklyn neighborhoods of East Flatbush, Coney Island, and Brownsville. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
Let's go back to Asia now, where India and China have resumed direct flights after a 5-year suspension, a move important both for trade and a symbolic step as Asia's giants cautiously rebuild relations. The neighbors, the world's two most populous nations, remain strategic rivals, competing for national and regional influence, but ties have eased gradually since a deadly Himalayan border clash in 2020. India's government said the resumption of flights will boost people-to-people contact and aid the gradual normalization of bilateral exchanges. Now time for some excitement from the world of sports. The Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN, led by its national president, Isaiah Benjamin, has held a Thanksgiving service at the City of Refuge International Church, Abuja, in commemoration of SWAN's 60 Diamond celebration. Global TV Aniete Patrick was there for us.
As the activities marking the SWAN at 60 commences, the national president said it was good to start with prayers for a successful outing owing to the challenges so far. He added that this milestone in SWAN only signifies greater days ahead of the association.
We are celebrating our 60th anniversary. We were established in the year 1964. We were 60 last year and we thought to celebrate it. We have come to understand that there is nothing that we do without giving thanks to God. And because we know that it's God that is the doer of all things, He has kept the association for this past 60 years, and to God alone be all the glory.
Commending the association, the cleric at the church prayed for the body, urging them to do more in nation building. Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Well, thank you, Aniete. Nigeria's under-17 women's team have advanced to the knockout stage of the World Cup after thrashing Samoa 4-0 in Morocco. Queen Joseph bagged a brace, while Shakirat Mushood and Azizat Ojuton added one each as the Flamingos finished third in their group. The victory gives Nigeria a +3 minus goal difference, setting up a round of 16 clash with North Korea tomorrow. Rivers United have qualified for the group stage of the CAF Champions League after defeating Mozambique's Black Bulls 3-1 in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Goals from Wasiu Falolu, McLean Biokbo, and Timothy Zacharias secured a 3-2 aggregate victory for the Nigerian side. Coach George Fididi praised his players' resilience, saying the win highlights Nigeria's growing strength in continental football. And that's all we have for you here on Global TV AM News. Just a quick reminder that you can find us on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. As always, we encourage you to interact, engage, and subscribe to all of our social media channels using @Global TV NG as well as other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Uyag Mofwegwe, thanking you very specially for watching. Beginning shortly is Global Morning.